Hi everyone, my name is Oscar and I'm a scientist. In today's video I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about the increase in USCIS fees that was recently proposed, actually just a few days ago. I already have a video that you can watch, I'll leave a link here, and I talked the same day that they released this news, I talked about how they look like in general, but today we're going to cover specifically how it will affect all the people that are planning to do an adjustment of status now or in the future. I mean now when, of course, when it takes effect. So these are the official sources of information that I will be using in this video and that you can go and check and read on your own. The official proposal is on this link on the left. I'll leave it also in the description of the video so you can easily click on it. You can go there. It's a huge document, it's hundreds of pages long. Right now it looks a little bit different than how it looked in my first video, because when I talked about it last time it was still in draft form, but then the following day was already edited by this Federal Register and now it looks much more official. But you can go there, click on PDF and access that document, and you can also submit a comment. Right now they have 60 days for this public opinion period where they published it, and then until the first week of March we can all submit formal comments. And formal, it's not really formal, I mean we can just open and this is how the website looks, and you can click on this green button here and then you will see a box here where you can type whatever you want to comment. You can even add files and write your email, say if you're an individual, an organization, or anonymous, and then submit your comment. And the comments are public, so be careful if you're writing here and you want to remain anonymous. Don't write anything like your name or anything, because it will be published on this website. We can actually take a look. Close this, so you can click here and read the public comments. You will see all the comments that were submitted. Some people will put their names, some people will just show anonymous, and you can go and read it. And at the end of the video I'll show you an example of a comment and we'll see how that looks like. I opened one that I really like, so I have it at the end. The second website that you can check is a more digestible website. Is a USCIS link where they answer frequently asked questions. So they break down the key parts of this huge document for anyone that don't want to read the long file. So that's your source of the information. Let's start with a recap of the proposed increase in fees for adjustment of status. And here in this green box I give you the reference to where in the big document, in the proposal, you can find this information. Table 17 is in one of these pages, and here I'm highlighting to give a comparison between the current system and the proposed system. What is the difference in money for this adjustment of status? So right now the current fees for an adjustment of status is a little bit over $1,200. That includes already the biometric fee, which is $85 per person. Remember, adjustment of status is for people that are living in the US already. They adjust their status from a visa to this lawful permanent resident status. So each person, if you're one person, then you only have to account for one fee, but if it's a family that we're talking about, then each person in the family will have to pay fees. Okay, so you would multiply this times the number of people in your family unit. So right now it's $1,200. With the proposed fees it would jump to $2,800 if this person or this family, they are requesting to have travel document, which is form I-131, an employment authorization card, or EAD. That's form I-765. And this is a key part of this proposal, which is in the current system, when you apply for an adjustment of status, I-485, you are entitled to also submit these two other forms, 765 and 131, at no extra cost. So you can apply for your adjustment of status and already request a temporary employment card and a travel authorization with the same fee that you are paying for your adjustment of status. Under the proposed rules, that's not the case. They are removing that bundle and now they are making it completely independent, and that's huge in terms of cost. So if you compare only forms 485, it is quote-unquote only increasing from $1,200 to $1,500, or 26%, which is quite a bit already. But because some people apply for the three forms at the same time, that's where this 130% increase comes into play, because right now you are not paying extra for those two extra forms, but in the future, if this is passed, then you will pay $1,600 more. I think of myself when I applied, I did apply, and I recommend others to do the same under the current system. I did apply for 485, but also these other two forms. I ended up not needing them. These are called interim benefits. These are benefits that you get until they don't take a decision in your case. For example, in my case, I had my I-140 approved, but I wasn't sure how long they were going to take to approve my adjustment of status. So I asked to get the employment authorization and the travel document just in case that I ran out my current visa before I got my green card, so I could travel if I had a family emergency, for example, or I could continue working with the employment authorization card if they took too long and my visa expired. So a lot of people may be currently ordering these two forms just in case as a plan B, and it was nice because it was a no-brainer. It was just no extra cost. But now under the current system, if you have to pay more than $600 for each of them, then a lot of people may choose not to apply for them and may run into issues if the processing times are too long. So now a little bit of my opinion. My opinion is that this is not good at all. This is too much stress, economic stress, and maybe other types of stress on families that are applying, particularly when the number of people applying goes up, because it's quite significant, that increase. For adults that want to have these two extra benefits, then the cost is $1,600 more per person, so that's quite a bit. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your opinion too. So here I give you a little bit of copy-paste of the places in the document where USCIS talks about this ending of the bundle of these three forms, and they are saying that if they wanted to keep that bundle, they would have to increase the fee for the form I-485 not to $1,500 but to $1,700, so $175 more than what they are proposing right now. I actually think that will be better than what they are doing, which is which they are putting people in the spot and asking them to basically not apply for those two extra benefits, and a lot of people may not be able to pay for that extra money, and I think maybe this would be a good compromise if they added a little bit extra on the fee and just included everything. So a reason that they give a couple of reasons for this. One is that having bundle of forms, basically what is happening is that people that don't use those benefits are paying for the increase in fees. However, well, I think that's that's not the worst case scenario. This system that they have is also, there's some solidarity even between forms. Some people get waivers, some people don't get waivers, so there's some people paying for others and vice versa. So I think adding a little bit extra on those on that bundle of forms would be a better choice, but they are arguing here. You can read their reasons for making this change. Okay. One thing that the other day I didn't comment on in my first video is what happens with children, and this is a very significant aspect of it as well. So one thing was the bundle. The bundle will bring a big change in cost, but then children under 14, their application for adjustment of status would go from $750 to $1,500. So adults and children would now pay the same fees. In the past they had different fees, and now basically they're saying we're going to simplify it, and that's one of the reasons they give. They want to simplify the process so it's easier for them and cheaper also, theoretically. But now because of this, families with children will pay more than double for the application of their kid. And it's interesting because in the text they are saying that this proposal will affect a small percentage of applicants, approximately 5 to 6%. Which is fine. Okay, they're saying, well, it's not a big deal because not a lot of people are benefiting from this, but my counter to that is, if only 5 or 6% are using this benefit, why don't you keep it? I mean, I'm sure it helps families a lot. I mean, a family of 4 or 5, and we'll have a case study in a second to show you that example, but those kinds of families, they have an enormous financial stress in this process. So I think it would be nice to help them a little bit, especially if, like USCIS is saying, they only represent 5 to 6%. Alright, so let's see a case study to understand, or two case studies to understand the impact of these measures. The first case study is a simple one, family of 2. So we have a main petitioner and their spouse. So a couple, one has applied for I-140, let's say it's an EB2 and AW, so I don't know, a person with exceptional abilities applying, getting the I-140, and then the spouse is also adjusting the status based on that main petitioner's application. We are going to assume that these 2 adults need a travel document and an employment authorization card, or they want. Maybe they don't know if they need it or not, but they want to get it just in case. So in the current system, they would pay each $1,200 per adjustment of status, but with the increased fees, they would pay $2,800. So that would mean that this family of 2 would go from paying $2,400 to $5,600, which is more than double. That's a 130% increase in adjustment of status fees. This is only adjustment of status government fees. Okay. In our second case study, this family of 2 now has 2 children under 14 years old, and we assume again that the adults need travel document and EAD card, and the children only need travel document because obviously the children are not going to work, so they don't need that employment authorization card. So now the table is a little bit bigger. We have our 2 adults, main petitioner and spouse, and then the 2 children. Under the current system, the 2 children pay $750 each, so they have a reduced fee. So they all pay $4,000. Under the current system, not only the adults pay more, but the children will pay more. They pay a little bit less than the adults because they don't need the employment authorization card. The big difference between systems is that those 2 interim benefits are paid separately. So now the family pay almost $10,000 instead of $4,000. So that's a $6,000 increase, or a 150% increase in cost. So now I do hope that USCIS looked at these numbers, and I know they did because they do acknowledge this financial stress they are going to cause to families in the writing, but I'm not sure they do understand it 100%. They don't understand what this $6,000 mean to the regular average family, particularly the average immigrant family in the United States. So I think they should take a harder look at these numbers. Hopefully the public comments that are being sent will make them think a little bit more, and they will take a better decision on these forms. One more thing that I wanted to show you is these completion rates that they publish also in this document. In table 10 you can find what they call completion rates, or they define as the average hours per adjudication of an immigration benefit request. In other words, time required to complete specific immigration benefit requests. So that's the time that the USCIS officer or officers take to complete your form whatever. And they have everything broken down by form. Here I have the example of form I-131, application for travel document. That's 0.3 hours. So to complete your application for travel document, an officer or more than one officer will take 0.3 hours, about 17 minutes. This you can see in these pages of the proposal, and I think it's very important because we can also use this to rationalize if this increases and this lack of bundling of forms makes sense or not. So I did an exercise of putting the information for the relevant forms together. So we have our I-485, 131 and 765 forms with the completion rate. So of course, adjustment of status takes longer to complete, about 2 hours. But then we have 131 and 765 only take 0.29 or 0.22 hours, 17 or 13 minutes. And now we see the proposed fees. $1,500 for the adjustment of status, but then $630 and $650 for the other two. We see there's no proportionality here. There's almost from the employment authorization to the adjustment of status, there's a 10x increase, 10 times difference in the time they take to physically approve or deny your case. However, the fee is about a 2x increase, and similar to the other one. So my reason here is these two forms that used to be part of the bundle of adjustment of status, they are now done at no extra cost to the applicant. They don't really seem to be a burden for these USCIS officers. So they are not taking really a long time or so much extra time because we asked for those two forms to justify that the increase in fees is so great. So this is my thought. I will think a little bit more about it, and maybe this will be part of my comment that I will submit to this proposal. And that's a good segue. If you want to submit your comments, you can. I already showed you at the beginning of the video how to do it. You can do it until March 6th. Don't leave it for the very end in case you forget. It takes a couple of minutes. I will submit mine, but here I have a screenshot. I opened a few of them just to read what people are leaving there. Some of them are shorter, some of them longer, and I found this one that actually is really relevant to today's discussion. It's about adjustment of status, and this person is saying, instead of charging a fee for I-485 based EAD and advance parole, that's the EAD and travel document card, I would recommend USCIS to consider completely doing away with the need for EAD and advance parole for I-485 applicants. I-485 application and receive notice can act as automatic grant of EAD and advance parole benefits while the applicant waits for I-485 adjudication. And I thought this was a really creative answer. Before I talked more about the cost, if maybe we should add a little bit extra to get that bundle again. But now this guy or woman, I don't know because it's anonymous, is saying why don't you just do it automatically? I mean, it is obvious that most people would benefit from having that travel document. It won't hurt, for sure, and that employment authorization card, because you can choose to use them or not. Like I did not use them, but I had them, which makes a huge difference for immigrants. Having a document that allows you to travel gives you a lot of peace of mind in case something happens on the other side of the world to your family or to your friends. So why don't you just do it automatically? Include it in the 485 form. And I think this is a brilliant answer. I don't know what is the complexity of it. I'm sure we don't see everything that USCIS sees in the bureaucracy of things, but in general lines, what I think is that these hikes of fees are excessive, and they will hurt a lot of people that are trying to immigrate to the United States in a legal way, in a disproportionate fashion. So just tell me in the comments here in the video what are your thoughts, and please feel free to submit your comments in the official website. So one more thing is my website EB2NAW is open for you to visit. I have a lot of free information and also ebooks, my own petition where you can see how I argued my case to USCIS. And coming soon is an EB2NAW course that I think is going to be one of a kind. I think there's no course like this one out there. It's going to be structured in different sections and is going to walk the do-it-yourself applicant through everything in the process, from how to fill out the forms to how to write a good cover letter or obtain good recommendation letters. And I'm going to have it in English and in Spanish for the first time. I'm releasing contents in Spanish. So if you want to test it before it's out and public, which will happen sometime in February, you can send me an email to oscar@eb2naw.info, and some people are getting early access for great discount actually, and you will help me by giving me feedback. That's all I ask. So I hope to see you soon in this channel. Please subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet. Give it a like, share with your friends and family, and good luck to you in your green card journey and EB2NAW journey in particular.